Okay, and you're streaming on YouTube, so just understand that there's people in the world watching. Oh, have you? You said 102 first? Yeah. Okay. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Morning. Morning, Justin.
All right, so we are here for an initial appearance on that has not provided their name. Appears to be suffering from medical issues here. Sir, can you hear me? Okay. All right. Sir, can you tell me your name?
Speak loud. Is that gonna be your full name, Chip?
All right. You know what? For the jail, I'm going to go ahead and pass this to tonight. He seems to be suffering greatly right now and unable to communicate. So let's pass this to tonight and hopefully he can get some medical attention. Okay. So if you pass it to tonight, you just write down here. You don't fill out anything. You just write continue to PM and you can maybe write it. Something like that, whatever you want to. And then if it's just city court, you hand it back to the city court clerk. Okay. That was 102. And then you just, this is your list that you kind of go by. It usually goes in this order so that you kind of are ready with your name. So-and-so. We're going to take up Cody first. So what you're going to prepare, you're going to open his file here and here. Good morning, sir. Is your true name Cody Aaron Thompson?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good morning. This is a time set for an initial appearance. You've been arrested on a warrant out of Graham County for a shoplifting charge. We're also here on a city court matter where you failed to appear from last year for a criminal trespass charge. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to be represented by an attorney. In some instances, if you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. So, Mr. Thompson, we're going to talk about the warrant out of Graham County first. You are being held on local charges, probation violation. So I am going to set a bond relating to the Graham County case. And when your local charges are resolved, you will be, Graham County will come and issue the warrant and take you there to resolve that case. So your next review hearing for the warrant is February 28th at 9 a.m. You'll be held on $5,000 cash or secured bond. And then relating to the city court matter, because you failed to appear for the criminal trespass charge, I am going to order that you be held on $500 cash bond. Your attorney is the city public defender. Your court date is February 7th at 1:45 p.m. in front of Judge Cranshaw, Tucson City Court. You are not to return to the incident location. Do you understand?
Kind of.
All right, I'm going to let you talk to your attorney on mute so that you can get your questions answered, okay?
Yes, please.
And so for these, when it's a double file, what I started doing is just like separating this for her and giving him his. So she gets that one and he gets this one. Thank you. Then we'll get, we got two, and I always just see who's next. So, sometimes. And what do we know about him? He has, so this is just justice court, and you know that because it's not one of these, and it's a justice court misdemeanor, and there's the probable cause. And you just look in here, give it a quick read and make sure there's PC, see what happened, and then you can make a decision. Now, these are on there. These are not handwritten like these. So we've got Mr. McDougal, and then if it's a DV, which it is, he should be on here with pretrials. So there he is. If it's not a DV, you're not going to have this. So Mr. McDougal, and then you find him on here. And then you're gonna wanna fill this out and make a decision about what to do. So Mr. McDougal is charged, and then you'll get information from the victim on here. Mr. McDougal is charged with criminal damage, Arizona native plant violation. That's interesting. So then you click on this pretrial, the pages for pretrial. This is their risk to reoffend, failure to appear scale, the council and the state. So
Okay, Judge, sorry about that. We're ready to.
that's okay. Fine, we're doing training here too, so.
Oh,
No worries.
thanks. So is there a concept for the Grant County?
Yes, it's
Those 5,000, right?
$5,000 cash and secured.
All right, thank you, Judge. Wait, so figure. Hey. Just.
Good morning, Your Honor. This is Spanish court interpreter. Your Honor, can we check with the jail if there's any Spanish speakers?
Sure. Any Spanish speakers, jail?
None today, Your Honor.
All right, great.
May the interpreter be excused, Your Honor.
Yes, thank you. Have a great
Thank you
weekend.
very much. You too. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Kevin McDougal.
Um, All right, good morning, sir. Is your true name Kevin McDougal?
That is true.
All right, this is the time set for an initial appearance. You've been arrested on charges of domestic violence, disorderly conduct, criminal damage, and violating an Arizona native plant. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You do have the right to be represented by an attorney in some instances. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. So, sir, I am going to release you on your promise to appear. Your next
Mhm.
court date is March 3rd at 10:30 a.m. in front of Judge Cornejo, Pima County Justice Court. Failure to appear could result in a warrant for your arrest. There's several release conditions that you're going to have to abide by. No alcohol or illegal drugs, no acts of
Mhm.
domestic violence, no firearms or weapons. Your brother is not wanting any contact with you, no contact with your brother or your residence, his residence and workplace. I know you share a residence. You may return one
Yeah.
time with a police escort to pick up belongings, but otherwise no contact. Do you understand?
Yeah, I had a question. Did it say domestic violence yelling? Because he said it was like from yelling.
Sir, I'm going to advise you not to make any statements today. If you have questions, you
Okay.
can talk to your attorney on mute, but everything you say here is being recorded and there's a county attorney. So I'm going to advise you not to speak. Okay? Okay. So I'll give that. Number 3. And he's in the same boat.
Morris.
All right. Good morning, sir. Is your true name Caleb Morris?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, this is a time set for an initial appearance. You've been arrested on a charge of domestic violence, disorderly conduct, and domestic violence criminal damage. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to be represented by an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you in some instances. So, Mr. Morris, I am going to allow you the opportunity to be released on your signature, on your own signature, but there are several conditions of release that you do have to follow. First thing that you have to do is appear at your arraignment. It's March 3rd at 10:30 a.m. in Pima County Justice Court in front of Judge Erica Cornejo. If you fail to appear, a warrant could issue for your arrest. The other conditions, although I know you're 19, I am going to order no alcohol or illegal drugs, no acts of domestic violence, no firearms or weapons. Your aunt is not objecting to you returning to your shared residence, so you may return there and have contact with her. That is her decision. So do you understand, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, that is all for today. Thank you.
Isak.
I'll be right with you, sir. Thank you. All right. Good morning, sir. Is your true name Abdikar Isaac?
Yeah, Isak Abdikader.
All right. Good morning, sir. This is a time set for an initial appearance. All right. Good morning, sir. This is the time set for an initial appearance. You've been arrested on multiple charges out of Tucson City Court where you have failed to appear. You've also been arrested on a new charge of assault, domestic violence, and disorderly conduct, domestic violence. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to be represented by an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. Give me just a minute here, sir. He's not. All right, sir. All right, sir. So based on the fact that you have failed to appear in multiple cases over the past few years, I am going to order that you be held on $2,500 cash bond in the old cases, and also based on the nature of the new cases, it'll be the same for that case.
Why is that?
Sir, I'm going to advise you not to speak. Anything you say can and will be used against you. I'm going to advise you to talk to your attorney on mute when we're finished, but it's my turn to talk right now. You're going to be held on $2,500 cash bond. Your next court date, 2/5/130. Okay. Was there? All right, that's okay. Your next court date is February 5th at 1:30 p.m. For the new charges, that's going to be a domestic violence arraignment. For the old charges, that's going to be a pre-trial conference. If you post the bond, you are to possess or consume no alcohol or illegal drugs, commit no acts of domestic violence, possess no firearms or weapons, no contact of any kind with the alleged victims, do not go to the victim's residence or workplace or the incident location. Your attorney, again, is the city public defender. Do you understand, sir? Sir?
No, no.
Okay, I'm going to let you go on mute and talk to your attorney. So, just mimic these, but don't put this. Is that right? So make sure I'm doing this right. So I'll just add no alcohol, no DV, no firearms, and then I'll put the date 2/5 at 1:30. And these would just be pre-trial arraignments for the new charges. So make sure you sign both, and then there's nothing to
Understand?
So it's basically,
and then Mr.
yeah, I was understand. All right. Forwards.
I'll be right with you, sir.
And it's just
Good morning, sir. Is your true name Rex Schwartz?
Yes, Your Honor.
This is the time set for an initial appearance. You've been arrested on charges of domestic violence, disorderly conduct, harassment, disorderly conduct, noise, and criminal trespass. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to be represented by an attorney. In some instances, if you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. Give me just one moment, sir. All right, sorry about that, sir. All right, so sir, based on the nature of the charges, I am going to order that you be held on $500 cash bond. If you post that bond, there are several conditions of release that you are going to be required to follow. The first one is you are to have absolutely no contact with the victim in this matter. That means not by telephone, not by text. You are not to go to her residence or workplace or the incident location. Your attorney is the city public defender. You are not to possess or consume alcohol or drugs, commit no acts of domestic violence, possess no firearms or weapons. And you are on notice that there is an order of protection that has been granted by the court. It's not been served on you, and I'm assuming it's going to be served on you while you're in custody. So any further contact would be a violation of that court order. Your next court date is February 12th at 1:30 p.m. in front of Judge Million. That is Tucson City Court, and that is for a domestic violence arraignment. Do you understand, sir?
Yes.
All right, that's all for today. And then I'll just,
Do I need to sign this?
Oh, no, that's just taking that information. So,
Don't worry for it right now.
yeah, for now, it's a $500 bond, so if you're able to post that, then you'll be released, and then you just have to make sure that you're at that point. Okay, can I make a phone call? We go, all right. Okay, we're good.
Well, that's not how they do the bills.
and it,
William Thompson, good morning, Your Honor.
good morning. All right, good morning, sir. Is your true name William Thompson?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
All right, this is the time set for an initial appearance. You've been arrested on charges of assault and disorderly conduct, domestic violence. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to be represented by an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. Give me just one moment, sir, okay?
Absolutely. Yes, ma'am. Sure, I look at it, but other than that, oh, well. Play it, chat, me. Stolen drug.
All right, Mr. Thompson, I'm gonna order based on the nature of the charges. I'm gonna order that you be held on $500 cash bond. You are not to go to return to the incident location. I'm gonna appoint the city public defender to represent you. Your next court date is February 7th at 1:45 PM in front of Judge Verena, Tucson City Court for an arraignment. You are to possess or consume no alcohol or illegal drugs. One moment. All right, so no alcohol or illegal drugs, possess no firearms or weapons. And I've given you your next court date. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
All right, that's all for today. Thank you.
Judge, you said February 7th?
Yes, and I'm also going to consolidate his two pending cases out of city court. Do you guys need me to read that into the record? No, okay, out of city court. All right, that's all for today. Thank you.
Somewhere else.
Okay, so just be able to see it. And there's the.
Our last one.
All right, so.
Hello, ma'am. Is your true name Maria Vega?
Yes,
This is a time set for an initial appearance. You've been arrested on charges of assault, domestic violence, and disorderly conduct, domestic violence. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to be represented by an attorney in some instances. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. So Ms. Vega, I am going to allow you to be released on your promise to appear. There's several release conditions, though, that you have to abide by. First one is you need to appear at your arraignment. That is March 3rd at 9:30 a.m. in Tucson City Court in front of Judge Maldonado. If you fail to appear, a warrant can issue for your arrest. The other conditions of release that you must abide by are that you cannot possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs. You cannot commit any acts of domestic violence. You are to possess no firearms or weapons. You are to have no contact of any kind with the alleged victim or his residence or workplace or the incident location. Although the incident location was it at your residence? Okay, it was at your home, so I'm not going to say incident location. All right, so do you understand those conditions?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, that's it for today. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
And just to show you.
Yeah. It's over.
See, and I always forget, at least forget one signature per day. Thank you. All right, I'll be right with you, sir. All right. Good morning, sir. And then, sorry. It's a little hairy. All right. Good morning, sir. Is your true name Daniel James Antone? All right. This is the time set for an initial appearance. Let's see here. Give me just one moment. It's always helpful to. All right, you've been arrested on a warrant out of Pima County Superior Court for criminal damage. You've also been arrested on a failure to appear warrant for several cases out of Tucson City Court. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to be represented by an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. And then on I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you, sir. And then you'll see the state's recommendation. We're going to talk about the felony first. The failure to appear for the arraignment. The state is recommending a $1,500 bond. Anything else to add, Mr. Poston?
No, Your Honor.
All right. And Sam?
Your Honor, I just want to make a sort of blanket statement. The OneDrive is not loading for whatever reason, so I haven't been able to view the interim complaints or recommendations. But I think given that there are a couple of warrants, we would agree that a 1,500 bond is reasonable.
Okay. Thank you.
Judge, I'm going to go ahead and try to reload the Rex to the OneDrive to see if it's come back up. It looks fine to me, Your Honor.
It's the
Okay.
OneDrive itself page is just not loading. I don't think it's any individual document. It's just the OneDrive link.
Okay.
I have had no troubles, counsel. Sorry.
All right. Well, I'll let you guys work on that right for a minute. Give me just 1 minute.
Counsel, give me your email. Or at least give me your last name.
Sorry.
Can you give me your email or just your name and I can pull it up on the PD's website so I can send you the docs?
My name is Sam Preminger. It'll be Samuel on there.
Got it. Sending it to you right now. You should have them momentarily.
All right, sir. So because you failed to appear for your arraignment, I am going to order that you be held on $1,500 cash or secured bond, pretrial services release if posted. All right, sir, you are to possess or consume no alcohol or illegal drugs. You'll be monitored by pretrial services. You are not to return to the incident location. Your next court date is your arraignment, February 7th at 1:30 p.m. Pima County Superior Court. And now we're going to talk about your city court matters, sir. You have failed to appear for several charges of assault, obstruction, disorderly conduct, threats. Looks like they were from 2023, so I am going to order that you be held on a $500 cash bond. Your next court date is February. Did I just say February 7th? You can go back and look. Can we get Superior Court arraignment is the 7th. Can we get a different date for the city court matter?
Usually we just keep it,
Keep it the same day?
if he's gonna be, so you.
Yeah.
You do the NCR date, February. or
I'm
March 21st.
hosting them
Just on this one, not on.
On
the
both.
Superior.
on both.
If it's on June, then. You just have to February this.
It's exactly the same time.
Yeah, virtually, and you put a bond on the other one, right? If you want, you could RLR him on this one, and then he'll be seen. So I don't know. I
I'll
should
keep it.
just-
They'll figure it out. All right, sir, your court date, February 7th at 1:45 p.m. Tucson City Court for a pretrial conference. You are to possess or consume no alcohol or illegal drugs. Do not go to the incident location. No contact with the alleged victim of the assault or their residence or workplace. Counsel is the city public defender's office. I'll vacate the February 25th motion to quash hearing that. Do you understand, sir? Okay, so on these, since this is a single digit one, I'm going to give Marty back this and just take this out. All right, that's all for today, sir. All right, ready? Let's talk to him, Sam. I'm fine with that. Do you want to talk to him?
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so I'll give you time to show you guys the next one. Orlando Bernal. Orlando Bernal. Okay. So Mr. Bernal. So this one is. Sure.
All right, guys, stand up. Up the steps. Stay in order.
Good morning, sir. Is your true name Orlando Alfredo Bernal?
Yes, Your Honor.
This is the time set for an initial appearance. You have been arrested on charges of burglary in the second degree and criminal damage. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to be represented by an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. I'm going to go ahead and appoint the Pima County Public Defender's Office to represent you. It's already checked here. The state is requesting that you be held without bond on this case because you are on release for another case. Neil, anything you want to add on that?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor, it appears they, oh, hold on, Your Honor, can I consult with them one sec?
And even though he's gonna be.
Your Honor, I would note from Mr. Bernal, the case here, it starts from August. He was on pretrial for a case, a 2025 case. So this allegation actually predates the one for which he was on release.
Neil, do you want to make a recommendation regarding bond then?
One moment, Your Honor.
I think this was a DNA fingerprint, so that's probably the delay.
Just one moment, please.
Sure.
You know, I respect the word of my teacher. I've been calling everything, everything I told. But when I mean, you know, this is a whole different case. I didn't commit it or anything, you know. Sure. Teacher, I was trying again, you know. I've been doing it like no BBC. I've been calling. I've been doing everything. I've been calling every day. I've been calling everything, you know. I ask you to do something, I do it, you know. Why can't I be trusted? I work like boards, I work everything. Why can't I really stay in the trial? Oh, yes. Thank you, please. Thank you, tell me. We do time for trial. Time up to do pre-trial, you know. I have a call.
Judge, I'm sorry. Can you repeat this individual's last name? Because I think we're somewhere out of sequence here.
Bernal.
This is Bernal. Okay.
Correct.
I guess I've been doing everything from you. Call every week. Every week. Works. Everything.
Your Honor, given the fact that this looks like in the interim complaint, home invasion, apparently it's been alleged the defendant drove a U-Haul to a residence or was part of a group that did so. Front door was damaged. And yes, Your Honor, this is a fingerprint case. Given the fact that it's an invasion of somebody's home, $10,000.
Okay, thank you. Sam, anything else you want to add?
Your Honor, Mr. Bernal has just noted that for the time he's been on free trial, he has been keeping up with it. He would ask that given that he has been compliant, and this does predate what he's been on release for, that he be allowed to continue on pretrial. I don't have the information from the interim complaint. In fact, it's a second-degree burglary. I suggest that there was no weapon involved, at least. He does deny involvement in it. He is presumed not guilty. So we would ask that he be allowed to continue on pretrial, as he appears to have been doing well on the case for which he is on release. In the alternative, we would ask for a bond not exceeding $1,500.
Your Honor, I would also note he's got 9 priors, extensive DOC and BOP time as well. State consider him as a flight risk based on the fact that he's likely facing mandatory prison if he is convicted.
Call everything happen. I'm like a big thing.
All right, I appreciate everybody's arguments. I am going to find that the defendant is a threat to the community and a flight risk. I'm going to order that he be held on $10,000 cash or secured bond. Pretrial.
Been going to pre-trials. I've been going through everything, man.
It's my turn to talk. When I'm done, you can talk to your attorney or ask me questions with your attorney's help, but it's my turn right now. $10,000 cash or secured, pretrial if posted. You are to possess or consume no alcohol or illegal drugs. You are to have no contact whatsoever with the alleged victim or that residence or workplace. Your next court date is your preliminary hearing, February 10th at 1:30 p.m. You also have an arraignment in your new case that's scheduled the next day on the 11th that you'll be transported to. All right. Do
Yeah.
you understand, sir?
That I could get on pretrial?
Sir, if you make any
Yeah.
statements, they can be used against you. Is there something you want to ask me?
Yeah, why, if I'm doing get on pretrial, man, why do I gotta be held? I've been doing everything I didn't do,
I'm-
I'm not gonna run. I know my past is my past. I'm
Sir,
not sorry for my
I'm gonna
past.
let you talk to your attorney on mute. That's all for
Yeah,
today.
no, you asked me about how anything to say to you.
I don't have anything else to say. We're done here. Thank you. Sam, you can talk to him. Prove it. Good morning, ma'am. Is your true name Lisa Kavanaugh?
Yes,
All right, this is a time set for an initial appearance. You've been arrested on charges of unlawful flight from law enforcement, weapons misconduct, 2 counts, identity theft, and possession of drug paraphernalia. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to be represented by an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. Ma'am, we also need to talk about several cases where you have failed to appear out of Pima County Justice Court, and you also have a Nogales Justice Court case. It looks like you're, and you also have some pending felony cases, not these cases, where you're held without bond. Give me just one moment.
which justice, real justice case ones are.
All right, so the state, it looks like the state is asking that you be held without bond on this case. I do note, Neil, that it looks like she's already being held without bond on her other cases, but she was on pretrial services release, so on several cases and on probation. Anything else to add, Neil? Do you want to go forward with the no bond?
Yes.
Okay. All right, Sam?
Um, we have no argument, Your Honor. It looks like they're entitled to the hearing, so.
Okay. Thank you.
When it's no bond, person, you may have to wait till.
Ma'am, I'm going to talk to you. Please listen to me and then you can talk to your attorney, okay? So for the new felony cases, I am going to appoint OCAC attorney Joe Ezzo to represent you. I am going to order that you be held without bond. The state does have the right, per the Constitution of State of Arizona, to request that you have a hearing set to consider holding you without bond. That hearing is February 5th at 2:30 p.m. in Pima County Superior Court. Your attorney will be present with you. The state can come in and ask that you be held without bond. You'll have a hearing with witnesses in that case. You'll be represented by counsel, or they can come in and ask that a bond be set. If a bond is set and you post it, you are to possess or consume no alcohol or illegal drugs, possess no firearms, and you're going to be monitored by free trial services. Give me just one moment, please.
Yeah.
So again, So you'll, all right, ma'am, we're going to talk about your Pima County Justice Court where you failed to appear from last year for a shoplifting and a criminal trespass case. I am going to order that because you failed to appear that you be held on $500 cash bond on that case. Your next court date is your case management conference, February 3rd at 1 p.m. in front of Judge Garza, Pima County Justice Court. Your attorney, and for the, give me just 1 minute. You've got these sheets with different jurisdictions here. So this is Justice Court up at the top there. This is Green Valley. These are all the various jurisdictions. So Justice Court's always at top. I'm going to appoint Jill Gookin to represent you, and then provide Ms. Gookin's contact information for you, ma'am. No contact with the incident location, no alcohol or illegal drugs. Okay. All right, the next case we're going to talk about, ma'am, is your Saurita Municipal Court case where you failed to appear from last year for a theft case. In that case, because you failed to appear, I'm going to order that you be held on $500.
That's the same way.
Still talking. $500 cash bond. Your next court date is February 3rd at 3 p.m. And we're going to give you the contact information for Saurita Municipal Court. Your attorney is going to be Stan Fitzgerald. We're going to give you his contact information. You are to not return to that incident location, ma'am. No alcohol or illegal drugs. Do you understand?
Yeah, but the Green Valley and Cerrito, and it's the same store. It's the same charge.
Ma'am, you're going to have to work that out with the individual jurisdictions, and I will let you talk to Sam on mute if you have questions, but those are the three cases, okay?
It's the same case.
Thank you.
Is Mr. Emma set?
Today, ma'am.
All right.
Yep.
All right, goes.
So. Have a seat with the females.
Next.
Pablo?
Yeah, go back. I'll have a seat with the females.
Good morning, sir. Is your true name Juan Ricardo Chaparro?
Yeah.
All right, this is a time set for an initial appearance. You've been arrested on a charge of possession of a dangerous drug. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to be represented by an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. I am going to appoint the Pima County Public Defender's Office to represent you in this matter. The parties are requesting your release to pretrial services. So, sir, based on the nature of this case, I am going to allow you an opportunity to be released to pretrial services. But there are several release conditions that you need to abide by. Give me just a moment. Neil, are we dealing with narcotic or do you have the interim there?
I do, Your Honor.
So,
Over threshold cocaine.
Yeah.
So he's-
Is it, Your Honor, is it the question of threshold amount?
Well, the charge indicates dangerous drug.
One moment.
Sure, take your time.
One moment.
We'll be right with you, sir.
You can't sit quiet. Since the third time I had talked to you.
This one, the other one, there was one, but the officer said it should have been north, but it was charged as dangerous. So I did it the same way.
Oh.
But-
Yeah, this could, I would have our officer. It's on everything as dangerous.
That's what they had to do.
I can't. See, so they got it right here. I think.
7.
On 7.
Is not.
Okay,
7 is.
Dave, okay, so they got it wrong here. So Marty,
Cocaine is a narcotic drug per ARS 135401, subsection 20. Bravo. So it would look like we just have an error where they flip-flop the names on the charges. I leave it to the court's discretion.
is the state, yeah, I can,
State would argue it's a Scrivener's error, but state leaves it in the court's discretion.
yeah, I agree. Is the state then proceeding with a sales charge?
And not at one moment. One moment.
Attorneys pursue with trial release.
Yes, the
Okay.
release conditions are going to remain the same, sir. So Mr. Chaparro, there was a Scrivener's error. You were arrested with a narcotic drug, not a dangerous drug. So you will expect that in the charging document. Your next court hearing is February 7th at 9 a.m. Pima County Superior Court for an initial steps hearing. You may be eligible to participate in the STEPS program, which is a pre-indictment diversion program that offers you drug treatment in lieu of prosecuting you for this felony. If you don't show up, you won't find out if you're eligible. You may not be eligible, but you do need to show up. Do you understand?
Yes.
All right. And then the other issue, Sam, typically what we would do is waive the preliminary hearing for 45 days. Do you want to talk to him about doing that?
Sure.
Take your time.
Sure.
So I started writing this.
Yes, Your Honor. He would like to push out the PH date.
All right. All right. So Mr. Chaparro, we're going to waive time for your preliminary hearing from February 20th to March 17th to allow the state time to review your case and allow you time to come to court and be considered for that diversion program. Okay.
Thanks.
All right. That's all for today. Thank you. All right. Good morning, sir. Is your true name Manuel Contreras?
Yeah.
All right. This is the time set for an initial appearance. You've been arrested on a warrant for failing to appear out of Pima County Superior Court for charges of aggravated robbery with a deadly weapon and aggravated assault, deadly weapon, dangerous instrument. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You do have the right to be represented by an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. I am going to appoint the Pima County Public Defender's Office to represent you in this matter. The state is asking for a $15,000 bond. Anything else to add, Neil? It looks like
Your Honor,
he's being held without bond on a probation violation warrant as well. Sorry, go ahead.
you stole my thunder.
I'm sorry.
That said, if probation does let him go, we still have all the concerns. He's an NVC AES. He's a 4 out of 4. And quoting from the interim, Contreras is a known serial shoplifter in the area and has utilized a weapon in the past. State calls that a risk to community safety.
Thank you. All right, Sam.
The warrant notes a $10,000 bond. We would just ask that the amount not exceed that amount, but
Okay, thank you. So here's a case where, all right, Neil's great. He's always good at. All right, so Mr. Contreras, based on the nature of this offense and the repetitive nature, I'm going to order that you be held on $15,000 cash or secured bond as a threat to the community, pretrial services, supervision if posted. You are to possess or consume no alcohol or illegal drugs, no contact with the alleged victim, and you'll be monitored by pretrial services. Your arraignment is February 7th at 1:30 p.m. Do you understand?
Yes.
All right, that's all for today.
Daniel.
Thank you. Good morning, sir. Is your true name Daniel De La Sala?
Yes, ma'am.
This is a time set for an initial appearance. You've been arrested on charges of organized retail theft and unlawful flight from a pursuing law enforcement vehicle. And we're also here on a Sierra Vista Justice Court warrant for several misdemeanors where you've failed to appear last year for court. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to be represented by an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. So, sir, in the felony charge, I'm going to appoint the Pima County Public Defender's Office to represent you. And we're going to talk about that case first. And then the state is recommending that you be held on $5,000 bond. Neil, anything else to add?
No, Your Honor.
And I will note, it looks like has an adult probation hold for the Cochise County case. Sam?
No, given the hold, we think the $5,000 recommendation is reasonable.
All right. Thank you. All right. So, sir, you heard what I just said. You're being held on an out-of-county warrant for probation violation. So you'll be held regardless, but I will set a bond in this case of $5,000 cash or posted. Your next court date is your preliminary hearing, February 10th at 1:30 p.m. Pima County Justice Court. You are to possess or consume no alcohol or illegal drugs, no contact with the incident location, and then monitoring by pretrial services. And now we're going to talk about your misdemeanor case out of Sierra Vista. This is not the probation case. That will be handled by a different court. All right. So, sir, based on your failure to appear, it looks like these cases are fairly old from last year. I'm going to order that you be held on a bond in those cases, and then we're going to continue to review your local charges until Sierra Vista can come and pick you up on the warrant. So I'm going to order that you be held on $5,000 cash or secured bond on that case. Your next hearing is a review hearing. Your next court hearing is February 28th at 9 a.m. And that will be here, sir. We're going to review that Sierra Vista warrant for those charges. Okay? Do you understand?
Yeah. So do I stay here until I go to court on the 28th?
Unless you bond out.
Right.
Okay?
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Marty, it won't let me approve it or save it. It says next court date has not been set. Because usually I don't touch the next date box when you have the review hearing. Should I put the same date in there? I'll just close it, let you mess around with it. And then just let me know when you want me to approve it. Give that to her. Thank you. Oh, here's this. Thank you. All right. So then. Take this. Good morning. What's your true name? Isaias Fisher.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, this is a time set for an initial appearance. Give me just one moment here. All right, so you have been arrested on a warrant for failing to appear out of Pima County Superior Court for charges of possession of a narcotic drug, possession of a dangerous drug, and possession of drug paraphernalia. We're also here on several Tucson City Court matters where you failed to appear over the years. You do have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You do have the right to be represented by an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. I will appoint the Pima County Public Defender's Office to represent you in the felony matter. The state is asking for a $7,500 bond. Neil, anything else you want to add?
NDCA 6 out of 6. He's at 6 prior stints in ADOC. Your Honor, violent crime and an extensive history of failure to appear leads me to recommend 7,500.
That's what he's talking about there. All right, thank you, Neil. Sam?
I'm seeing from the pre-trial paperwork, it looks like the listed amount on the warrant was $500. We would ask that if the bond exceeds that it be not by much.
Thank you. All right, so I appreciate the argument, counsel, but I am going to find that Mr. Fisher, based on his criminal history, that he is a flight risk here. I'm going to order that he be held on $7,500 cash or secured bond, pretrial services if posted. The next court date, sir, is your arraignment, February 7th at 1:30 p.m. in Pima County Superior Court. If you post the bond, you are to possess or consume no alcohol or illegal drugs, and you'll be monitored by pretrial services. One moment. So we will. Now we're going to talk about your multiple city court cases where you have failed to appear over the years. Looks
Wait,
like,
I'm being held on the other stuff?
sir, I'm talking now. You can talk to your attorney when I am done or ask me questions when I'm done, but I need to provide this information to you. You have multiple cases where you failed to appear for several years at a Tucson City Court, and that's not acceptable. I'm going to go ahead and order that you be held on $1,000 cash bond on those cases. We are talking about charges of criminal damage, obstruction, disorderly conduct, possession of drug paraphernalia, assault, criminal trespass, and more disorderly conduct. In those cases, sir, your next court date for all of those is February 7th at 1:45 p.m. in Tucson City Court in front of Judge Maldonado for a pretrial conference. If you post the bond, you are to possess or consume no alcohol or illegal drugs. You are to you are to not return to the incident location. You are to possess no firearms or weapons, and the city public defender is appointed to represent you. Do you understand?
Yes.
Right. I'll let you talk to him, Sam.
So just quickly, I had 1:30 on the 7th for his arraignment in the Superior Court matter and 1:45 on the 7th for the city court. Can that work,
Yeah.
or does one of those change?
We're gonna have to figure that out on the back side. We can't change it right now, but we'll figure it out.
Okay, thank
Okay,
you.
thanks for asking.
Yeah.
All right, and so I'm sorry. And again. I'll be right with you, ma'am. Okay, so you got 3 of these that you have to sign. And then hand them back over here. So again, in this one, I would just keep the justice court stuff here and give him his files. Thank you. Prove it. Oh. All right. Good morning, ma'am. Is your true name Panay Rose Fox?
Yes.
All right. This is the time set for an initial appearance. Give me just a minute. You've been arrested on a warrant out of Maricopa County for possession or use of drug paraphernalia and unlawful use of theft of a means of transportation. You're also here on a city court domestic violence failure to comply with a court order that we need to talk about. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You do have the right to be represented by an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. All right, so, okay, so ma'am, we're here reviewing the Maricopa County warrant as well. Because there is a warrant for those charges, I'm gonna order that you be held on $1,000 cash as secured bond. And we're gonna keep reviewing that case until your local charges are resolved. So Maricopa County can then come and take custody of you on the warrant. So your next review hearing is February 3rd at 9 a.m. So we'll see you back here then. And if your local charges are still pending, we'll continue to set those review hearings. Give me just 1 minute. Okay, all right, ma'am. And so that's the Maricopa County. So let's talk about the misdemeanor case here. You have a new charge of failure to comply with a court order for allegedly violating an order of protection. And you also have an assault and a violation of an order of protection where you have failed to appear in Tucson City Court. And that was, looks like from November. So in those cases, ma'am, I am going to order that you're held on a $500 cash bond. I will appoint the city public defender's office to represent you. I'm going to vacate the hearing set December 12th. You are to possess or consume no alcohol or illegal drugs, commit no acts of domestic violence, possess no firearms or weapons, no contact with the alleged victim or his residence or workplace or the incident location. I do want to remind you that there is an active order of protection. Your next court date is, looks like it's February 12th at 1:30 p.m. in front of Judge Million. That is for a pretrial conference and an arraignment in the new charges. Hold on just a second. All right, ma'am, do you understand? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And this one I've signed 500 cash, and then just and okay, I'll be right with you. It's for you. Thank you. Thank you. All right, ma'am, is your true name Tia Haupt?
Yeah,
All right, this is the time set for an initial appearance. You have been arrested on charges of possession of a narcotic drug, possession of a dangerous drug, possession of drug paraphernalia, and resisting arrest. We're also here on a warrant out of Pima County Superior Court for failing to appear from last year, possession of a narcotic drug for sale, criminal trespass where you have failed to appear from last year, and a shoplifting where you have failed to appear from last year. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say, I'm sorry, I will also note that you're being detained without bond on a probation violation warrant. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to be represented by an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. Give me just 1 minute. All right. So, ma'am, I am going to appoint the Pima County Public Defender's Office to represent you in this matter. Let's see here. I'm just looking for the state's recommendation. Neil, what is your recommendation? I can't find it.
Ms. Hauk, 2,500 plus PTS. Considering it would have been, she's not Step Smart eligible because there are non-drug charges added into the mix on what would have otherwise be solely drug charges. So at this point, 2,500.
Thank you. Sam?
Your Honor, in light of the probation hold, no objection to the $2,500 bond.
All right. So, ma'am, again, reminding you that you do have a probation hold. So I am going to go ahead and set a bond in this case of $2,500 cash or secured. Pretrial services, if posted, your next court date is a preliminary hearing, February 10th at 1:30 p.m. Pima County Justice Court. If you do post bond or are able to post a bond, no alcohol or illegal drugs. And then, ma'am, we need to talk about your misdemeanor cases. You have the shoplifting charge where you failed to appear out of Pima County Justice Court. Because of the age of that case and your failure to appear, it's from February of last year. I'm going to order that you be held on $500 cash bond. Your next court date is a case management February 3rd at 1 p.m. in front of Judge Garza. And that's Pima County Justice Court. And in that case, you are to possess or consume no alcohol or illegal drugs. Do not go to the incident location. And then this is one where we'd have to select a contract attorney. I'm going to give you an attorney in that case. Okay, got to get used to where you look here. I'm going to go ahead and appoint Jill Gookin to represent you. Ms. Hauk, we are going to give you Ms. Gookin's contact information on the paperwork that you take with you today. And then we're going to talk about your criminal trespass case where you failed to appear from last year. I'm going to order that you be held on $500 cash bond. Same court date, February 3rd at 1 p.m. And that's going to be in front of Judge Garza, Pima County Justice Court. I'm going to appoint Ms. Gookin again to represent you. And in that case, you are not to return to the incident location, no alcohol or illegal drugs. Do you understand, ma'am?
Yeah.
That's all for today. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Good morning, ma'am. Is your true name Grace Loudon? Ma'am?
Lopez?
No, it's Lopez.
Ms. Lopez?
It's Lopez.
Oh, sorry, I looked at the wrong file. My bad. Okay, sorry, ma'am. Is your true name Bethany Marie Lopez?
Yes.
Give me just one moment. This was in the wrong. All right. All right, ma'am. Thank you for your patience. This is a time set for an initial appearance. You've been arrested on charges of organized retail theft and aggravated shoplifting. We are also here on several misdemeanor cases out of Pima County Justice Court for shoplifting and trespass where you have failed to appear from last year. And we also are here on several Tucson City Court cases where you have failed to appear. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You do have the right to be represented by an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. For your felony charge, Ms. Lopez, I am going to appoint the Pima County Public Defender's Office to represent you. The state is recommending that you be held on $3,500 bond. Neil, anything to add?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Sam?
I was never arrested. I don't know.
So. And then you're going to look at the front page here. See how pretrials.
Ma'am, I was never arrested.
Ma'am, I'm going to advise you not to make any statements right now. Anything you say can and will be used against you. I'm going to advise you to talk to your attorney if you have anything you want to say. Okay? Sam?
Your Honor, Ms. Lopez just has expressed she doesn't have any money that she'd be able to post for bond. We would ask for a bond not exceeding $1,000 if the court is inclined to impose bond.
Thank you. So, Ms. Lopez, based on the repetitive nature of this conduct, I'm going to order that you be held on $3,500 cash or secured bond. Your next court date is February 10th at 1:30 p.m. in Pima County Justice Court for a preliminary hearing. You are to not return to the incident location, no alcohol or illegal drugs, and you will be monitored by pretrial services.
It's the incident location.
I'll let you ask your attorney any questions that you have when we are done here. Next, we're going to talk about your Pima County Justice Court case for shoplifting, where you have failed to appear from last year. In that case, I'm going to order that you're held on $500 cash bond. Your next court date is February 3rd at 1 p.m. in front of Judge Garza, Pima County Justice Court. You are to not return to the incident location. Your attorney is going to be Jill Gookin. We'll give you her contact information. You are to possess or consume no alcohol or illegal drugs. Next, we're going to talk about your city court matter. You were arrested, it looks like, for failing to appear for criminal trespass, and then you have a new criminal trespass and a reckless burning. In that case, ma'am, I'm going to order that you be held on $500 cash bond. Your next court date is February 7th at 1:45 p.m. in front of Judge Maldonado. That's an arraignment for your new charges and a pretrial conference for your older charges. You are to possess or consume no alcohol or illegal drugs. Do not go to the incident location. And the city public defender is appointed to represent you. Do you understand? Sam, I'm going to let you talk to her, okay?
Your Honor, it was 2,500 on the felony case,
3,500.
3,500 and the public defender appointed.
Let me look here. Yes.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Give you back those. Thank you. Yes.
So you're saying arraignments, we don't have jurisdiction of the different courts.
Mhm.
Wrong.
Correct. Yeah. They were. We don't. The, so, oh wait. Oh, you gave me that. Thank you. All right. Good morning, ma'am. Is your true name Grace Loudon? Oh, you're muted, Sam.
Sorry, Your Honor.
That's okay. All right. So I'll ask you again, ma'am. Is your true name Grace Loudon?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. This is a time set for an initial appearance. You've been arrested on charge of aggravated assault, deadly weapon, dangerous instrument. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to be represented by an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. I'm going to appoint the Pima County Public Defender's Office to represent you. State is asking for a $7,500 bond. Anything to
Your
add?
Honor?
Yes.
Actually, Your Honor, I did a little more research, and based on the information that I was able to uncover, we're looking, the state's going to modify its request to $15,000.
All right. Anything else you want to add on that?
She's being sought by the marshals, and it looks like for quite a few reasons. And this involves threats with a handgun that was chambered and pointed at the victims. State considers this person a threat to threat to the community.
A nice person on her.
Thank you, Sam.
I just got information from the jail staff that the marshal hold is for the next. I think it was incorrectly entered at first. The marshal hold is actually for the next person. It's not for Ms. Loudon.
Okay, any recommendation that you want to make?
You want to make it talk briefly?
Sure. Oh. So if you ever want to.
So, Your Honor, we note that there's no criminal history noted by pretrial services. The assessment also does indicate that this may be a self-defense type of case. She has no history noted of this type of offense or any offense. We would ask if she's indicated that there's no way she could possibly post any bond exceeding 10,000. We would ask that she be released to pretrial services, given the lack of criminal history and the possibility that this could be self-defense case. Your Honor, if you're not inclined to release her to pretrial services, we would ask for a bond that doesn't exceed $3,000.
Counsel, but, and I do note that she does not have any criminal history, but based on the nature that this was a handgun that was racked and pointed at someone's face, I am going to find that she is a threat to the victim and our community. I'm going to order that she be held on $15,000 cash or secured bond. Pretrial services, if posted. Wow. So ma'am, your next court date is February 10th at 1:30 p.m. And that's a preliminary hearing in Pima County Justice Court. If you do post the bond, you are to possess or consume no alcohol or illegal drugs, monitoring by pretrial services, no firearms or weapons. I'm going to order that you surrender the firearm, no contact whatsoever with the alleged victim or the alleged victim's residence or workplace. Do you understand? All right, that's all for today. Thank you. And then it looks like. Sir, Sam, you want to unmute?
Oh, sorry.
Sir, is your true name Albert Muhaj?
Yes.
All right, this is the time set for an initial appearance. You have been arrested on multiple charges of fraudulent schemes and artifices, taking the identity of another person. We're also here on a fugitive warrant out of Texas that we will discuss as well. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to be represented by an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. I'm going to appoint the Pima County Legal Defender's Office to represent you, sir. I will also note that you're being detained without bond on a parole violation warrant. The state is recommending $10,000 bond. Neil, anything you want to add?
It's 10,000 on each, Your Honor.
Okay.
This person has an extensive history of forgery, identity theft, and fraud. Looks like he's got a federal detainer as well as the parole violation. Your Honor, these crimes are the sorts of things that somebody may not be left bloody, bruised, or killed, but it can absolutely destroy their financial future. This person is a danger to society.
Thank you. Sam?
Given the federal detainer, we'll defer to the court's decision on bond.
Thank you, sir. All right. All right, sir, I am going to order that you be held on $10,000 cash or secured, just based on the nature of this offense. I do find that you're a threat to our community. Your next court date is February 10th at 1:30 p.m. Pima County Justice Court for a preliminary hearing. If you do post the bond, you are to possess or consume no alcohol or illegal drugs. You'll be monitored by pretrial services, no contact with the alleged victims in the case. Again, though, you do have that probation hold. And then next, we're going to talk about the fugitive warrant out of Texas. I will order that you be held on $10,000 cash or secured bond. In that case, your attorney is the legal defender's office. You do have a fugitive warrant review hearing February 5th at 2:30 p.m. in Pima County Superior Court. Basically, your case will be monitored for the warrant out of, it looks like Bronx, New York, for ID theft until your local charges are resolved. Do you understand, sir?
This is,
All right, that's all for today.
thank you.
Thank you.
Owens.
Good morning, sir. Is your true name Ivan Owens?
Yeah. Can you hear me, Selena? Good. Can you hear me, Selena? Okay.
Good morning, sir. You've been arrested. This is the initial appearance. You've been arrested on charges of aggravated shoplifting. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to be represented by an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. I'm going to appoint the Pima County Public Defender's Office to represent you on the felony. And then we also need to we also need to talk to you about some charges out of Marana Municipal Court where you failed to appear for a shoplifting charge. The state is recommending that you be held on $25,000 bond. Neil, anything else to add?
16 prior shoplifting arrests, 10 prior convictions, extensive time in the Department of Corrections, 6 and 5 on the scale, and was apparently on probation or release. Maybe I didn't hear, but is there a probation hold on this individual?
There does appear to
no.
be. Oh, it looks like he's on probation. Jail saying no hold yet.
$25,000.
Thank you. Sorry, jail?
No, there are no probation holds, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. All right, Sam?
25,000, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Your Honor, I recognize there is a pretty extensive history, although it seems it's large. Well,
If you want to take a minute, Sam, you can take a
Sure.
minute. Yeah.
Your Honor, Mr. Owens is just explaining that he is suffering from some health issues. He's also currently homeless. I think you do recognize there's extensive criminal history, but given his circumstances, I think a $7,500 bond would be, not exceeding that amount would be sufficient to assure that he's not going anywhere. So we would ask if the court is going to impose a bond that not exceed that amount.
Thank you, counsel. All right. So, Mr. Owens, it is concerning the repetitive nature of these offenses. I am going to order that you're held on $10,000 cash or secured bond pretrial if supervision if posted. Your next court date is February 10th at 1:30 p.m. in Pima County Justice Court for a preliminary hearing. You are to possess or consume no alcohol or illegal drugs, and you're not to return to this incident location. And then Marana. Right. So, sir, we need to talk about your Marana City Court case.
Okay.
You failed to appear in another shoplifting case. I'm in order, therefore, that you be held on $500 cash bond. Your attorney is going to be Janet Alschuler. We're going to give you her contact information on the paperwork that you received today. Your next court date is a case management conference, February 3rd at 12 p.m. Marana City Court. You are to possess or consume no alcohol or illegal drugs and do not go to that incident location. Do you understand, sir?
Yes.
All right, that's all for today. And it-
Reducing the SW cases.
all right. Good morning, sir. Is your true name Juan Ivan Preciado Ruiz?
Yes, Your Honor.
Time set for an initial appearance. You've been arrested on a charge of criminal damage. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to be represented by an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. I'm going to appoint the Pima County Public Defender's Office to represent you in this matter. State is asking for a $1,500 bond. Anything else, Neil?
Judge.
Sam?
So, Your Honor, it looks like Mr. Preciado Ruiz has no criminal history, misdemeanor, or felony. He's a young man. It looks like his mother has confirmed that she can provide him with residence should he be released. It also looks like he's employed as a full-time as a delivery driver, and pretrials noting that he has low new crime and failure to appear scale. It's actually 1 on the failure to appear scale. So we think that he is an appropriate candidate for release under pretrial supervision. If this court's not inclined to release him, we would ask that the bond doesn't exceed $1,000.
Thank you.
Your Honor,
Yes.
I'm sorry, but the fact that he's a delivery driver just escaped me initially. This is a charge where right now it's criminal damage, but I'm not sure if there's going to be a DUI filed in felony court or if there already is a misto DUI.
I don't
But
see it yet.
the PC statement says he was 6 out of 6 on the HGN, 5 of 8 on the walk and turn, and 3 of 4 accused on the one leg stand. PBT came out well above 0.1, and he's a delivery driver. Your Honor, if that is the case, the state's going to modify its recommendation to 5,000 because there's concern about him still driving.
Thank you. So, Mr. Preciado Ruiz, I do tend to agree with the state. You are alleged to have drunk alcohol and driven and crashed into some cars. I'm going to find that even though you don't have any history, I'm going to find that you're a danger to the community. I do think a bond is appropriate, $5,000 cash or secured pretrial services if posted. So, sir, you are to not drive without a valid license. You are to possess or consume no alcohol or illegal drugs. And obviously, do not drink and drive. You're going to be monitored by pretrial services. Your next court date is February 10th at 1:30 p.m. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, that's all for today.
Preston,
Another, you probably know that from. All right, good morning, ma'am. Is your true name Juana Marie Preston?
Yes.
All right, this is a time set for an initial appearance. You've been arrested on a charge of aggravated DUI while your license is suspended or revoked for a previous DUI. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to be represented by an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. I'm going to appoint the Pima County Public Defender's Office to represent you in this matter. Let's see. Like the state is recommending that you be held on $10,000 bond. Looks like you are on release for another DUI. Sam?
Your Honor, note that she's on release for misdemeanor DUI. It looks like that is her only other criminal history. It looks like the failure to appear risk is pretty low. Obviously, should she be released, it would be understood that she'd be ordered not to drive. We would ask that, given the lack of other criminal history, that she be released. In the alternative, we would ask for a bond not exceeding $2,500.
Thank you.
Your Honor? We're looking at, this is a DUI with two individuals in the car, one of them a minor. Defendant made spontaneous confessions of having consumed a 6-pack. HGN was 4 out of 6. And red, watery, bloodshot eyes, slurred speech, intoxicants, et cetera, et cetera. And there's a previous DUI violation resulting in the suspension. I mean, this just wasn't driving on a license because it was suspended for a DUI. This is being DUI on a license suspended for DUI. I don't know what it's going to take to convince this person to not drink and drive or not drive at all at this point. Somebody being killed, but this person is a danger, $10,000.
Thank you. So, Ms. Preston, I do agree with the state. You are alleged to have minors in your car. You're on release for a similar offense. I'm going to find that you're a danger to the community. $10,000 cash or secured pretrial services supervision if posted. You are to not drive without a valid license. You are to not drink and drive. No alcohol or illegal drugs. Monitoring by pretrial services. I will allow contact with the two minor persons, relatives that were in your car, but it's going to be no unsupervised contact with minors at this point in time.
Your Honor, point of order, the only one was a minor. I said one of which was a minor of the persons in the car, just so there's not any confusion.
All right. I'm going to just say then no unsupervised contact with minors at this point. Again, your next court date is February 10th at 1:30 p.m. Do you understand, ma'am?
Yes.
All right. That's all for today.
Silence.
Good morning, ma'am. Is your true name Rebecca Eileen Simmons?
Yes, it is.
This is a time set for an initial appearance. You've been arrested on a charge of an aggravated DUI. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to be represented by an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. I am going to appoint the Pima County Public Defender's Office to represent you in this matter. And the state is recommending that you be held on a $5,000 bond. Anything else to add, Neil?
Your Honor, the only reason this isn't 10 is because this person's last DUI was in 1999. But this person was, after being stopped pursuant to a traffic violation, strong odor of intoxicants, signs and symptoms, red, watery, bloodshot, smell of intoxicants, slurred speech, 4 out of 6. And when the walk-in turn was being administered, defendant made the excited utterance of, quote, "She could not conform this sober," unquote. Admitted to drinking plus Miranda, $5,000.
Thank you, Sam.
May I speak with Ms. Simmons briefly?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Your Honor, Ms. Simmons was just explaining that she is employed full time as a housekeeper. She explained that she could make it to work using public transportation, so she wouldn't have to be driving herself. As noted, she does have previous history of DUI, but it has been quite some time. It again appears that her failure to appear is not that high. It says noted as a 3 and not a high criminal activity scale. So we would ask that she have the opportunity to be released to pretrial services. In the alternative, we would ask for a bond that doesn't exceed $2,000.
So Ms. Simmons, we've had a series of DUIs here that you've heard about. Because you have no other history and you've been out of trouble for, looks like over 20 years, I'm going to allow you to be released to pretrial services, but there's several conditions that you have to comply with. First of all, you cannot drive without a valid license. You cannot possess any alcohol or illegal drugs. You're going to stay in touch with pretrial services. And obviously the biggest one, do not drink and drive. Your next court date is your preliminary hearing, February 20th at 1:30 p.m. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, that's all for today.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Good morning, sir. Is your true name Wesley Weigel?
Yes.
All right. This is a time set for initial appearance. You've been arrested on charge of criminal damage, endangerment. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to be represented by an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. I'm going to go ahead and appoint the Pima County Public Defender's Office to represent you. State is recommending that you be held on $2,500 bond. Neil, anything else to add?
No, Judge.
Okay, Sam?
I would ask for release of pretrial services, just given that Mr. Weigel has no history, felony, or misdemeanor. It looks like he can reside with his father, and he is employed full time. It's noted, obviously, the suggested conditions of release would be not to drive without a license or to consume alcoholic beverages. So we would ask that he be given the opportunity to abide by those conditions on pretrial services. If the court is inclined to hold him on bond, we would ask that it not exceed $1,000.
Thank you. All right. So Mr. Weigel, this is concerning behavior, but as your attorney stated, you have no criminal history. But I'm concerned about you drinking and driving, and then you also are alleged to have gotten to a wreck. So you need to not drink and drive. You need to not drive without a valid license. I'm going to allow you a chance to be released, but those are the rules. You're going to be released to pretrial. Your next court date is February 20th at 1:30 p.m. No alcohol or illegal drugs. And again, do not drink and drive. Do you understand?
Yes.
That's all for today.
One off, you have 4 attorneys.
Yep.
Initial appearance, you've been arrested on a charge of arson. Can and will be used against you. You have the right to be represented by an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. I'm going to appoint the Pima County Legal Defender's Office to represent you in this matter. The state is recommending a $25,000 bond. Neil, anything else you want to add?
Your Honor, this person has substantial priors, and I'm looking at the looking at Ms. Young's interim complaint, the synopsis is that she apparently went to a person's car, her ex-boyfriend, crumpled some items and then apparently lit it on fire and stuffed it inside the gas cap, basically tried to blow up the car. That could have killed who knows how many people and started a fire that could have consumed God knows what and killed God knows who. $25,000.
Thank you, Sam.
Your Honor, may I consult with Ms. Young briefly?
Absolutely. So you no.
So, Your Honor, Ms. Young just flatly denies what's being alleged. I think I'll leave it at that. Obviously, it's true of what you are very concerning. It's a very concerning allegation, but she denies it. And certainly the risk if she didn't do it isn't there. So she would ask to be released. She's explained that she's working, and if she isn't able to return to work, she likely lose her home. She is asking for release to pretrial services. In the alternative, she said that the most she could possibly afford would be a $5,000 bond.
Sam, I appreciate the argument, but based on her criminal history here and the nature and dangerous nature of this offense, I'm going to find that she's a threat to the victim and the community. I'm going to order that she be held on $25,000 cash or secured bond, pretrial services if posted. Ma'am, there's several conditions of release that you need to abide by. The first one is your preliminary hearing is February 10th at 1:30 p.m. in Pima County Justice Court. You are to possess or consume no alcohol or illegal drugs, possess no firearms or weapons, no contact whatsoever with the alleged victim in this case, or the alleged victim's residence and workplace. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
That's all for today. Thank you.
Sir, was it the appointed attorney to public defender?
I believe so. Let me double check. Sorry, legal.
Legal defender, thank you.
All right, and that concludes. Oh, I'm sorry. We have a late breaking.
That's what. So. I should.
Mhm. Okay, so he has local charges that I held him on.
Yeah, but
He's being held without bond on a federal detainer for parole violation, and he was not supposed to, so we don't want to set a fugitive warrant hearing.
Your Honor, this is the jail. If I could explain what I believe might have happened. And initially, when he was brought into the jail, warrants were ran on the arrestee. And it appears that the warrant, it had a law enforcement case number starting with the letters TX. It received that the booker thought that it was out of Texas. It's not. It is a U.S. postal case out of the state of New York.
Okay.
So in essence, it's just the local interim charges along with a federal warrant that's holding.
Okay. We'll vacate that fugitive warrant hearing then. Okay. Hello?
Okay. I guess you're not. Yeah, and the defendant is in the courtroom, heard everything that Will said.
Okay, so I'm sorry. So we'll vacate the fugitive matter that was set in Superior Court because there's no fugitive matter, correct?
That's correct. Cool.
Okay, we'll do that. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day.
You're Tucson, my friend so dear. We gather today, it's crystal clear. From the streets of Congress to Mount Lemon's Peak, united we stand strong and sleek. Old Pueblo's pride, under the desert sun. From the barrios to the ranches, we are one. We walk hand in hand through the cactus and sand. Together we rise tall and grand. Tucson is home where hearts collide. In this vast country where dreams reside, we lift our voices, let our spirits roll. In this melting pot, Tucson is home. In the shadows of the Cavaliers, we unite. From dawn's first light to the calm of night. Through trials and triumphs, together we grow. Tucson's love, forever we'll show. Arizona's gem, in the heart of the West. Tucson's diversity is simply the best. From the old missions to the modern flair, our culture and warmth we proudly share. Tucson is home where hearts collide. In this vast country where dreams reside, we lift our voices, let our spirits roam. In this melting pot, Tucson is home. In the shadows of the Cavaliers, we unite. From dawn's first light to the calm of night. Through trials and triumphs, together